spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News poll 4 in 10 call this the worst governing of their lifetimes politics. Nearly two-thirds, 64%, say an agreement is unlikely to happen before the deadline, with pessimism stretching across party lines. Majorities of almost 7 in 10 say the federal government is doing a bad job of governing, including 43% who say it's the worst job of governing in their lifetime. That's about double Donald Trump's overall approval rating stands at 40% approve to 55% disapprove in the new poll, a slightly more positive read than in January during the shutdown, but not a statistically significant improvement. His approval rate, but most still disapprove of the president's work on the issue. 54% disapprove, and the public is largely opposed to Trump's proposed path forward on the wall he pledged to build along the southern border between the United States and Mexico. Two-thirds say the president's base, however, is playing a different tune. Among conservatives, overall, though, the poll suggests most want to avoid shutdowns in the future. 53% would back legislation preventing any future shutdowns. 40% would oppose that. If there is a political winner to come out of the most recent shutdown, the poll suggests it is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. Her favorability, Pelosi's 42% favorable rating, 47% see her use favorably as her best result on this question in CNN polling since April of 2007. Positive signs for Trump. On the eve of a State of the Union address to be delivered in the Pelosi-led House, there are some positive signs for the president in the poll. Trump's approval rating on the economy remains in positive territory, 48% approve to 45% disapprove, continuing a nearly year-long streak of positive ratings on that issue. And his numbers have, and as Americans begin preparing their first tax returns under the tax reform law passed by the President and the Republican-controlled Congress in late 2017, the poll finds 48% saying they favor the law, 40% oppose it. At the time of its all told, about three-quarters, 76% say the president has created significant changes in the country, about the same as said so in December 2017. A third, 30, expectations for Democrats. Looking ahead, though, the poll finds the public expects Democrats in Congress to be the pace setters in Washington over the next 2 years, and for the most part, they prefer Democrats at the helm. Asked who will have more. Similarly, a majority feel President Trump's policy proposals will move the country in the wrong direction, 53% rather than the right one, 41%. That's about the same. Stacey Abrams, the Democratic nominee in last year's race for governor in Georgia, is set to deliver the party's response to the president's address Tuesday. Abrams is large.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.